Hello everyone, Melderon here, and welcome to Making and Saving Gold for Your WoW Classic Mounts, a guide by myself. But I will also want to thank Cargos for brainstorming with me and helping me use this type of template with the PowerPoint slide thing. This is something that he's been very successful using, something that I will also try to adopt more for more of the guide stuff, not for my other types of videos, but definitely for guides. All right, so let's get started. So if you've never seen this video, or if you're new to the channel, this is actually our most popular video by views. This is getting your vanilla mounts. And this video, the current one you're watching right now, is basically a part 2 or an extension of that video. And the reason I'm not a huge fan of the original video is because it's very long, very drawn out. It's not concise and succinct, and it doesn't really focus on other classes other than the mage at the end there. So I'm trying to make this as a general guide for everyone to enjoy, for all classes to enjoy, regardless of what you're going to be playing. So let's get started. Let's go into an introduction first. So why is getting a mount important? Well, there's a few reasons why. It of course decreases your travel time, which in turn will make you level faster, so that's very, very important. It'll let you engage in group content more effectively, and what this means is you'll be able to get into those dungeons quicker. You'll be more attractive to invite into a group because you have a faster mount, or a mount in general, depending on what level you are. Also, it may be a requirement for a lot of group content, and this is especially true for pre-made PvP groups that are going to rush certain bases like an AV and stuff like that. And the faster you are, the faster you can get to certain spots in the map. So that's very important. But I think most importantly, and this is the main reason why everyone really wants one, is that they're really a status symbol. When you get to level 40 and you're able to buy that mount immediately, people are pretty impressed by it, and they're even more impressed when you get the mount at 60, the fast mount, the epic speed. So it's a status symbol. People just march around their mounts. You'll see it all the time. And if you see someone buy a mount, it's a pretty awesome achievement. But getting a mount is not easy in vanilla because gold does not come by easy. So how do we get gold? How do we save it? Let's go over some strategies. Strategy 1 is more of a mental exercise. It's called Think Long Term. I recommend keeping your mounts in mind. What I mean by that is you should be thinking about your mount even at level 1 when you're thinking about what you're purchasing, when you're purchasing it, and how you could be more frugal and save money. Don't succumb to wants, but only focus on your needs. And that means that there's something you want on the AH or something that you kind of like, I kind of want that, but I don't really need it, don't buy it. If there's that little bit of doubt in your mind, do not buy it. And be a smart consumer. And this goes into mostly food and water, because that could be a big money sink for a lot of classes. And you can really minimize that money sink by really having a mage friend, or by asking mages first before going to a vendor, because you'll save money in the long run. Mages are going to offer a discount to you to be competitive with the vendors, so really take advantage of that. Strategy 2 is inventory space. And there's really only 2 sinks that should exist in the game, and one of them should be training, the other one should be bags. You should upgrade bags whenever you can afford to. This is kind of spending money to make money. The more bag space you'll have, the more inventory space you'll have, the more you can sell. And always check the AH before buying bags from a vendor, because tailors will usually, in almost every case, make their bags cheaper than what the vendors are selling it for to be competitive. And if you have even better, if you have a tailor friend or a guildie, ask them before you even approach a bag vendor. You really shouldn't buy bags from bag vendors unless you're really stuck. When you replace your bags, you can post them on the auction house and sell them to make some of that money back. So inventory space is very important, and you should buy bags soon or often whenever you can upgrade them. Number 3 is minimizing training. In vanilla, you train your spells and your ranks at your class trainer. You don't get them for free. They cost money. Each increasing rank of a spell costs more money, and each new spell, of course, has to be trained at a trainer. Don't train spells unless you actually will be using them. A good example would be like Shamans. Sentry Totem, you're never going to use it. Frostbrand Weapon, you're never going to use it. I know Shaman's the best, so I'm going to use Shaman examples, but there are examples in every class that stuff you can skip, stuff you don't need. Also, lower ranks may be totally useful, and this really comes into play with resurrection spells. Resurrection rank 1 will resurrect the party member just as good as resurrection rank 2. The only difference is they'll resurrect with less health and mana. If you're out of combat, it doesn't matter, just heal them up. So it's really a waste to train higher level ranked resurrection spells early game. Don't do it. It's going to save your money. If you're OCD and a completionist like me, this is going to bother you mentally, but just tell yourself, I'll buy it when I hit 60 after I get my epic mount. That's when you buy those training, okay? And you should apply this to both weapons and professions as well. If you don't know, in vanilla, you have to train weapons before you can use them. If you're an undead warrior, you start with able to use swords, but you don't know how to use axes. You have to go to Orgrimmar to learn that. But why would you train it if you don't have an axe yet? You may level, for a while without finding a good axe and keep using swords. So if you can forego that spending as long as you possibly can, do it. It's especially important for warriors and hunters, and shamans too, and I guess paladins. But you should really only train items if it's a huge upgrade and you're going to switch to a different weapon type. So keep that in mind. And as far as professions are concerned, if you follow profession guides online, there are recipes you can totally skip, and that'll save you money as well. So only train when you need to. Never train because you think you have to. Always train things that you need to have. Number 4 is professions. Okay, professions is your way of making money, really, pretty much. Of course, you can make money in other ways, but professions are going to be your primary source for income. So you have to choose the right profession. So if we imagine all professions that exist on some continuum from left to right, there are professions that are on one end that are non-lucrative or less lucrative, and then professions on another end that are very lucrative. But that continuum can change depending on what level you are and what recipes you have. For example, enchanting is not a very good money-making profession while you're leveling until you get some of these rare recipes that you can charge people a lot of money for. So enchanting can shift on that continuum very rapidly depending on what you have. But professions that are pretty much guaranteed to make you some coin are alchemy and herbalism. Everyone needs potions. Everyone needs, consumables. And you can sell that stuff as you're leveling. You can sell health potions, mana potions, all different kinds of potions. So that's a really good one. And then mining and engineering. Any PvPer worth their weight in gold will be leveling engineering. So you can provide them with either raw materials or ore from your mining. And you can make money that way. And then last but not least, 2 gathering professions together, which is a little unconventional, but it does work. Mining and skinning. And as you're running through the world leveling, you're going to mine, you're going to sell that ore and gems. You can smelt them in the bars as well, see which one sells for best on the auction house. You're literally just selling stuff. And skinning rarely ever really sells for a profit on the AH. That could change depending on what server you're on. But always check the AH. If it's a very minimum amount of profit you're going to make and you may not sell it and you lose that deposit that you're going to give to the auction house, just sell it to a vendor. You're going to make a lot of money just skinning animals and selling it to a vendor. So it's a very consistent way of making money. I don't recommend it late game because you're going to have to probably switch to something else later, but it's really good while you're leveling. Next, guys, you really want to consider secondary professions. They can all make you money. Let's start with first aid. So first aid, any bandage you make sells more than just selling the raw cloth to a vendor. Let's say you made a bunch of bandages and you're running with wool cloth right now. You made your heavy wool bandages and now you can make silk bandages. Well, you have all these extra bandages laying around. You can sell them to a vendor and make some coin. So it's just a way of having some extra cash in your pocket if you ever, let's say that silk is not selling, let's say cloth is not selling well in the auction house at all. You can convert that cloth to bandages and sell it for more to a vendor than you would have just by selling the cloth. Just something to keep in mind. Fishing and cooking kind of work synergistically. You'll be able to turn raw meat and fish into a food. Some of these food actually have beneficial buffs that will sell in the auction house, so you can actually sell that stuff. Also, just same way as first aid, if you get the raw turtle meat, let's say in Hillsbrad Foothills off those turtles in the river down there, you can take the meat, and if you just sell that meat to a vendor on the H, it may not sell as high as the actual soup you can make, the turtle bisque. Just by that, you can make some money, and I actually did that. I did it a lot while I was leveling. And certain classes can actually make money just based on their normal class-specific abilities. Mages make food and water. They can sell that to people for a profit. They're basically vending machines. It's pretty awesome. You can literally make money just by standing in Orgrimmar or Stormwind or Ironforge. They can also sell their portal service for money. Rogues can sell their lockpicking for money, and then warlocks, of course, can sell their summoning service. So always look out in trade chat or for world chat for people looking for warlocks, mages, and rogues, so you can make an extra coin there through tips. All right, that was a long one, so let's get into Travel Smart. This is a very simple thing, but just use your Hearthstone wisely. You're like, I don't feel like walking to that 5 minutes to Orgrimmar. Let me just use my Hearthstone. You may need that Hearthstone a lot later when the next quest sends you all across the world and you have to get back more quickly. And you're going to minimize taxi use. I know this sounds a little insane, but taxis cost money. And if you can walk somewhere, if you have the free time to walk somewhere, you actually may be beneficial by grinding while you're walking. I used to do that all the time, especially in a warrior. You just kind of charge in, fight a mob, kite him towards a certain direction that you're going, and then kill him, loot him, and then move to the next mob, charge in. It actually is a pretty fun way of walking from place to place. Mages have blink, X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of different things you can do. Shamans with Ghost Wolf. You can really make fun out of running by grinding while you run. And then, of course, public transportation. Use it wisely. If there's any way you can use public transportation over a taxi, use it. Oh yeah, you're like, oh, I don't want to wait 5 minutes for the Zeppelin. Oh yeah, but it might save you 10 to 20 silver, so it's really important to use. Number 6 is cash in on easy AH deals. Guys, you would not believe how many auctions are on the auction house posted for less money than what the person would have sold it for or would have made from selling it to a vendor. It's incredible. People will actually post things for like 5-6 silver less than what the vendor will pay for it. And sometimes you'll see like 20-30 auctions that are below that. Buy all these auctions up and sell them to a vendor. You'll make a few coin. There are add-ons that can actually help you scan the AH for these types of auctions. I don't know off the top of my head what they are. Just start searching for like some items and just see if you find any. Also, always make sure you have an add-on that actually tells you how much that item you picked up is worth to a vendor, so you know when you look in your bag, okay, this is worth 10 silver. Let me see how much this is going on the AH for. And if it's on the AH for like 8 silver, let's say there's 15 auctions less than 10 silver, just buy them. Buy them and sell them to a vendor. Number 7. It sounds really, really obvious, but save your damned money, guys. Don't go and buy upgrades on the AH. Don't do it. You're going to outlevel them eventually. Yeah, okay, you're going to be cool with that blue item or that even that world drop epic. You just don't spend the money on it. It's just a waste. It really is. You can level without it. People do it. The only thing you should be buying on AH are bags. Maybe you can argue a reagent or two So say you're low on a reagent, and say you're an alchemist and you need to make a potion, and that potion will sell for a lot more than what you paid for that reagent. Fine, that's an example of buying something in the H that's spending money to make money. But in this situation, you may make your leveling easier with a weapon with more damage or something like that, but it's not going to help. It's going to break your bank. It's not going to help you get your mount. Target upgrades from dungeons and quests. If you think you want to get something, either a weapon or a gear upgrade, go on a database, look for which ones, look for which dungeons will provide you the best upgrades. Don't just buy it. And then also knowing what quests to do for certain upgrades is very important. Do some research. You're investing a lot of time in this character, and some research will be beneficial. Number 8 is run dungeons. Believe it or not, dungeons are a good source of BOE and BOP drops. BOEs, of course, will be sold in the auction house for profit, and these include not just gear, but schematics, patterns, and recipes. And then you have your BOP greens and blues that will bind to you when you pick them up, but if you don't need them, they'll sell to a vendor for a very good amount of money, or you can disenchant them if you're an enchanter. Running a dungeon every now and then not only breaks the monotony and puts you in a group with people that you can converse with and have fun with, but it also can be a source of making some money. So consider it. If you're bored of doing the normal thing, consider doing the dungeons or two, and do some research on what recipes drop in dungeons that actually will be beneficial. Sell carefully. This is basically knowing how to sell certain items. Items drop in game all the time, and initially you'll think, oh, this item's really cool. It's got green text or it's got blue text. But in reality, it's worthless. It's a piece of crap. Knowing when to sell and how to sell is really important. Don't AH items that aren't sought after. Why? Because you're going to put that item up on the AH, it has a deposit associated with it, and you're going to lose that deposit if no one buys it. Only AH items that are of popular stat and type. Examples of things that would not be good to put up are irregular stat combinations like strength on cloth, agility on cloth. Really think about, is anyone going to buy this realistically? And if you say probably not, don't put it on the AH. You can try selling it on trade chat because there's no risk of losing a deposit there. But you really think about what's going to sell and what's not going to sell. Popular item combinations or popular stat combinations are strength and stamina, strength and agility, intellect and stamina, intellect and spirit for healers, anything with plus healing, plus damage, hit or crit. Of course, those are really important. They're very rare, but you may get them while leveling. Always sell them, but I would always try trade chat over the auction house because there's no risk of losing a deposit. And sometimes you can get, in trade chat, you can get bids just like in an auction house. People bidding against each other. Always consider that. Alright, number 10 is actually farming, guys. And this is like, there's two types of farming. There's reagent farming and there's mob farming. And reagent farming is literally running around looking for reagents, whether that be mining nodes, herbs, fishing, anything. And classes are pretty much equal with this, right? No class is really better than the other. Sure, a mage can blink, and a shaman has ghost wolf, but like past level 40, when everyone has at least one mount, their slow mount, there's really no difference, right? Everyone can really rage and farm equally. However, mob farming is extremely class specific and skewed. Mages, hunters, warlocks, priests with holy nova, paladins that protection farming. These classes are going to really excel. They can even farm dungeons for a lot of gold. You're basically farming dungeons, you're selling grays, you're selling BOEs, you're selling BOPs, you're selling reagents. You're able to run through these places and just grab so much stuff. At this point, we don't know how easy it'll be to farm in Classic. We don't know if they're going to make DM farming not a thing. We don't know that, but hunters and mages and other classes as well can literally farm parts of Dire Maw and make a lot of money per hour. Farming can be done by every class, but it can be done well and better by other classes. So consider that when you're thinking about farming. But it's a good way to make money. It is monotonous, but it's a really, really good, it's probably the best way to make money. And you can do it while leveling as well, so consider that. Okay, finding special vendor items. In vanilla, there are many vendors in the world that sell an item that's useful to many people, but the vendor only has one of them. And once that's sold, it's on cooldown for an X amount of time, and it won't be available. You want to target and hunt down these items that have cooldowns associated with them because you actually make a good amount of money. And these are recipes, patterns, or actually actual weapons sometimes that actually can be on cooldown. And this is when you want to use your alts to your advantage. If you do have an alt that's kind of just your bank alt or whatever, have them sit next to a vendor that's in a major city that sells a recipe or reagent. Like the Alchemy Trainer in Orgrimmar sells a couple different recipes that are on cooldown. If you put an alt next to him and send him some gold, you can pop in every once in a while and check and make sure it's off cooldown. You can buy it then and put it on the AH. And you can do this repeatedly over and over again. Of course, in the picture you're seeing right now with the Goblin, he's the guy from Hillsbrad Foothills that walks around with the Goblin jumper cables. If you can buy those and sell on the AH, it's going to be worth some coin. Also, you'll get a lot of quest rewards that will actually give you a pattern. And a lot of these quests may be faction specific, so you can actually go in the neutral auction house in one of the Goblin cities and actually try to sell that cross faction. You'll make a profit that way too. So even if you get a recipe from a quest, you should also consider selling it. Okay, white items, and these are items in white text, and these are reagents, these are cloth, meat and fish, gems, ore, herbs, anything that can be used in a trade profession you want to try selling on the AH. Some are crap and they won't sell, and you'll notice that right away. You'll be like, okay, these things are really sought after, these things aren't sought after. And then as you're leveling, you'll say, okay, I can vendor this, I can save bag space, because I know this is crap and no one's going to buy it. However, certain meats, you're going to be like, okay, this I'm going to save for the AH. And all these things, guys, really start to think about your inventory space and physicality of your inventory space and dimensionality of it. So what I always try to do is I always try to put things that I'm going to sell in certain bags or certain parts of my bag. So I know visually right away, okay, anything below this point is auction, anything above this point is vendor. And you can kind of do that in your head. If you use a bag add-on, it's a lot easier. You can actually make selling a lot easier if you delegate certain bags or certain parts of your bag to certain types of items. Number 13 is make an Enchanting Alt. In Vanilla WoW, you can learn Enchanting at level 5, and you can disenchant any item regardless of your skill level in Enchanting. You can be Enchanting level 1 and literally disenchant anything. So, on your main, if there's an item you get that probably won't sell to a player and doesn't sell great to a vendor, you can send it to your alt for 30 copper, and you can have them disenchant it and try selling the disenchanting reagent on the AH. Just double check and make sure what's selling more, the gear or the reagent, and that doesn't take long. You'll see, okay, reagent's selling for X amount, this gear only gets me 20 silver to the vendor, but I can sell it for 25 silver in the auction house. Okay, well there's profit right there. So use this to your advantage, level an alt to 5, park them in a major city, learn enchanting, and just wait, and just send them stuff when you need to. Alright, number 14, there are discounts you can get for your mounts. You can get 10% off by attaining honor and reputation with your home city and or race. So like trolls obviously don't have their own city, but they have a race. If you get honored with the Dark Spirit trolls and you're a troll, you get 10% off your mount cost. Boom, right there. It's very easy to get. You just do some questing. Just by normally questing, by level 40, you should be way higher than honored with your home faction. This is a very easy one to get. The next one's not as easy. It's achieving PvP rank 3, which is Sergeant, in both Horde and Alliance with your faction, and you'll get this by killing players. This will get you an additional 10% off, from your mount cost. So on a PvP server, this is going to be a lot easier to get because you're able to kill people in the open world while you're leveling. And if you're good at PvP, this is something you can really excel at. If you're someone like me who's not, this is not going to be something you're really going to try to get. But in a PvE server, you can still get it, but you're going to have to do mostly BGs. Obviously, no one's going to be really flagging themselves really regularly in a PvE server. So you're going to go into BGs and farm that way. Finally, guys, probably the most important strategy of all this is to take breaks. Gold farming is one of the most monotonous, pain-in-the-butt things you can do. It really gets to you. Go outside, take a hike, take a walk, do something else than just sit there and farm. It'll make you more focused in the long run, and actually when you get back into the game, you'll be more efficient. The more time you spend sitting down and doing nothing, the less efficient you get. Taking a break, even if it's for an hour to a half hour, go take a shower, go take a walk, eat something, drink a tea, whatever you're doing, it's going to make you more efficient in the long run. It's something to really, really consider. Well, guys, that really sums it up. Hopefully this was a good amount shorter than the last one. This is a lot to cover, so it's not going to be a short video, obviously. But I hope I was able to communicate what I think is important in saving and making money for your mounts. So without further ado, let me thank my patrons who are amazing and help me make these videos possible. They don't just donate to the channel, they provide me a constant source of feedback. We chat on a regular basis. Early Bird, thank you so much. Flozy B, Discipulo, Wiznips, Aspiring Musician, Brandung Media, Jeff Rags, Minoru, Gaming Pass 30, and Cargos. Thanks, guys, for being awesome and always keeping me on my toes and just challenging me to make better content and also providing me the funds to buy some better software and hardware and stuff like that. So if you're interested in me becoming a patron, the links will be in the description. But if you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and stick around because there's going to be a lot more of these kind of things being made. Not just guides, guys, because the guides are actually not my favorite thing to make. I like making those more of those videos like Classic WoW Tales and Y Classic and stuff like that. So stay tuned for those. And also links to our Discord and our Twitter will be in the description, so go down there and check that out. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Melderon signing off. Keep on keep buying and grinding, and make as much money as you can in Azeroth for your mounts. See ya.